Good evening. Welcome to the Public Servant. My name is Rina Villamor Camara, and for this evening, we will be joined by the former representative in the 1st District of Sorsogon, former senator, and now the governor of Sorsogon. He started his career at a very young age, a recipient to many awards, such as the Youth Achiever in Government Award, Most Outstanding Congressman, and Outstanding Public Servant in the year 2000, among others. I'm sure you guys all know him. Let's all welcome to the show, Governor Francis Chiz Escudero. Hi, Gov. Good evening.
Hi, Rina. Good evening to all of our televiewers. A pleasant evening as well. I hope everyone is keeping safe. Kamusta ka na?
I'm okay, Gov. Kayo po ang kamusta na? I'm sure you're busy lately, especially with the rising cases of COVID-19.
Yes, but here we've been able to maintain it at a manageable level. I think right now we're at 140. If you subtract the cases in the city, Sorsogon City in particular, we're only about at 60 in the province. I hope it maintains that way.
Okay, that's good to know, and I'm sure the viewers are ardent to know about the things that you're most busy of and the different projects you have for Sorsogon. But before we move on to tackling those things, let's get to know first who is Governor Chiz Escudero before entering politics. Let me begin by asking you this question. Can you please describe to us your younger years? I know that you grew up from a very influential family, starting from your great-grandfather. So how was it growing up with that kind of family?
Not really. My great-grandfather served as governor in the war years during World War II. He served from 1943 until 1952. So when I was born in 69, he was no longer the governor of the province. My father was the dean of the UP College of Veterinary Medicine, and my mother was teaching at the UP Home Economics department at that time. It was not yet a college. I studied at UP, therefore, from kinder until law. When I finished my law studies, I entered a law firm and later on put up my own small law firm with some friends and took up my master's in law in 1996 up to about 1997. And then I went back to the Philippines and started teaching at the UP College of Law before running for my first elected position in 1998 as the representative of the 1st District of Sorsogon.
Okay, what were you like in school back then? Are you like the pabibo type? Are you like the shy type in school? Can you describe to us what type of schoolboy are you?
Mula grade 1 hanggang 3rd year high school, ako yung batang nakasquat sa lahat ng class picture kasi maluwag ako.
Okay.
Na-discover ko yung sikreto ng pagpapatangkad. 4th year college na yata. So in my 4th year class picture, nakatayo na ako sa likod because I deserved it already. When I was in 1st year high school, my height was 4'11". I was a lanky kid. I was a thin kid, weighing probably a little over 60 or 70 pounds. Lahat ng crush ko, hindi nila ako crush. Hindi ako kasama sa in group or in crowd. I was not athletic, so I was not part of the popular kids in high school or even in college. I was also the quiet type. Although my dad became minister at some point in time in my high school years and became secretary at some point in time in my college years, it didn't really change my life. Nag-jeep, nag-bus, naglalakad, ganun pa rin, hindi naman nagbago because my dad taught us that valuable lesson which we were able to appreciate after EDSA 1 happened. My dad, you have to understand, was Minister of Agriculture when Marcos left in 1986 when EDSA 1 happened. But since he didn't get used to the lifestyle, wala naman kaming bodyguard, wala kaming wangwang, wala kaming mga coaching marunong. So, nung nawala si Marcos, wala naman din nagbago sa buhay namin. In fact, sa kalagitnaan ng yellow fever at that time, I was the only one wearing a Marcos pa rin sticker on my shirt. Lahat ng mga anak ng ministro, direktor, o mga blue ladies na maka-Marcos noon, nag-leave of absence na sa UP. But in my case, I stood my ground and wala naman ang bubog sa akin ng mga panahon yun. In fact, isa yun sa pinakamatataas na grade na natanggap ko kasi parang naawa yata yung mga teacher ko sa akin na ako lang yung naiiba. But having said that, when I joined a fraternity in the College of Law, they forced me, literally, to join an open debate, which we ended up winning. And I guess that's where my, you can say, being secure in speaking began.
But
Because
before
before that, I
become
was the silent and quiet type.
okay, but before becoming a politician, no, Gov Cheese, what were your aspirations back then? Did you really dream of, pursuing politics right then and there when you were young?
When I was in grade one, my mom used to tell me that when I was asked in class what I wanted to become when I grow up, I said president. Di niya alam
Oh,
ng klase lang at ng PTA lang, hindi naman ng Pilipinas.
okay.
But I've always been interested in politics, not only in running, but also with respect to how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when my dad ran for the first time in 1984, ako yung tiga-dikit ng poster niya. I wanted to learn how it's done. Kaya kabisado ako kung paano mag-mix ng gawgaw para dumikit talaga yung poster sa pagkakabitan mo. Kabisado ko kung gaano kalayo yung mga kinakabitan at ano yung mga lugar na pwedeng kabitan, yung mga kurbada para makita agad.
Yes.
And later on, tinamad ako, naging bodegero ako ng tatay ko. So ako yung nagdi-distribute ng posters, making the most out of the supplies we had that was limited, and making it reach the day of the elections. By 1987, I took part and formed a youth group to support my father's re-election. So nilibot na naman namin ng buong probinsya, and I got to bond with the younger people who are now my age in Sorsogon, and basically get to visit each and every barangay in our district. By 1992, I was holding already the headquarters of my dad. So ako nagpapadako lahat, ako yung maharap sa mga tao, etc., etc. By 1995, I was already holding the last-minute operations of my dad and getting the ballot returns and the ballots and their election returns. And by 1998, I was finally a candidate. So I went through the entire election process simply because I was interested in it and ended up being a candidate finally in 1998.
Okay, so how young did you actually first serve the people?
I first ran at the age of 28.
Okay, and
That's
what
23 years ago.
okay, ano po yung best advice na binigay sa inyo ng dad nyo to keep on moving when you were starting in the politics po?
Not really to keep on moving. My dad didn't want me to run. He was against my running.
Okay.
In fact, when I first ran, he did not come home and did not even deliver a single speech to endorse my candidacy, although I'm sure he voted for me. But it made the victory even sweeter. It made the accomplishment even better. Because we changed a lot of things with respect to the way they used to do it before I ran. So by the time my dad ran again in 2007, after I graduated from Congress, it was the same system that we were using already on how to campaign, and everything was more or less more scientific. And we ended up spending less and spending less time too, insofar as campaigning is concerned. His only advice that stuck with me was simple and plain. Huwag mong payagan baguhin ang pwesto mo, yung sarili mo, dahil hindi pang habang buhay ang pwestong yan. Pag nawala, baka magbago din yung buhay mo at hindi ka na makahinga. Ika nga nila, isa pang paraan ng pagsabi nun, huwag ka masyado magyabang dahil yung kasulubong mo habang paakyat ka, sila rin yung mga kasulubong mo habang pababa ka. That has always stuck with me, which is why I've remained who and what I am since before I entered politics, while I'm in politics, and hopefully even beyond and after I retire from politics.
Can you remember what were the challenges that you faced during, starting your career in politics po?
That was the most challenging Congress, actually, my first term in Congress, the 1998 to 2001 term. That's the only Congress that had 3 speakers in 3 years. That's the only Congress that tried to impeach a Supreme Court justice. The only Congress that tried to impeach a COMELEC commissioner. And the only Congress that actually succeeded in impeaching a sitting president. And as I said, we had 3 speakers in 3 years. So it tested the mettle, it tested the principles, it tested the scruples. It tested the word of each and every congressman at that time. Kaya yung mga batang congressman ng mga panahon yun, actually tried and tested yung mga yun. Kilala mo na mula ulo hanggang paa, pati yung laman ng pati yung loob ng mga buto-buto nila. And it was a good initiation for me, which made us all age and mature in politics quite fast. Unlike in previous congresses, usually peacetime yun eh. Wala namang away, wala namang gulo, wala namang mga impeachment. So they just go through the regular functions of being a congressman or senator. But those were really trying times, especially for politicians, especially given the public pressure, coming either from the church, the people, various groups. It tests loyalties. So I learned a lot from that. A lot of the first termers at that time learned a lot from that experience. And it has made us who and what we are now.
What? How do you define success right now compared to how you defined success before?
It's always been the same for me. The main reason why I entered politics is to be remembered. Not to do something good, not to help people, because you can do both even in the private sector. So the main reason why I entered politics is that I wanted to be remembered. To be remembered in a nice way, of course. Why is that? At the time when I entered, I didn't have kids yet. I wasn't married yet, so I didn't know if I would leave even people or human beings behind. I couldn't write a book and leave. I couldn't write a book and leave a book behind. I couldn't act. I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance. So baka pag namatay ako, parang bula ka lang na nawala at wala nang makakaalala. So I entered politics because I knew I would be able to do a good job at this and hopefully be remembered for it. And then when I had kids, they have been the joy of my life, and I would be remembered by who and what they become. So hopefully that will be an addition. So my definition of success is to be remembered in a good way for having done something, for having tried to do the best that he could, given the opportunities given him to serve government. Parang lapida na ba yun? Pero hindi naman.
Parang may legacy ka na gustong iiwan, di ba? Parang ganon, Gov. Chiz.
Sana maalala ka for that.
Yes, yes. What about your biggest fear right now in life?
My biggest fear is, of course, losing a loved one, especially given the pandemic. Not being able to see them anymore, not being able to say goodbye properly should that time happen, not being able to be with a person anymore. That is my biggest fear, especially when the pandemic started.
Any regret in life at this stage of your career?
Any regrets? If there are any, nothing comes to mind right now, Rina. So probably wala. All of the mistakes I committed, whether in love, especially in love, and in politics,
We'll talk about love later on.
would form part of who and what I am. Otherwise, I won't be this person unless I went through those painful and difficult times in my life. Again, whether it's in relation to love, money, or politics.
What makes you angry? Mabilis po bang magalit si Governor Chiz Escudero?
Kapalpakan.
Okay.
Basically, ineptitude, failure or ability to follow simple instructions. I'm short with respect to that simply because time is of the essence and people actually look up to us to do a good job for them. We're all being paid to serve the people and to do a good job. And they don't deserve that kind of service being given to them. So that basically lights my fuse on any given day. On any given day. But only with my people mostly, simply because I expect a higher level of service from them.
Okay. What makes you relax? Especially this time of pandemic, no? I know that may mga busy days talaga kayo, pero paano po yun? How do you relax with your family or by yourself?
I go to the shooting range if I have time. It makes me relax. Kasi isipin mo lahat ng kinakaasaran mo na yung mukha niya ay nasa target paper. So it makes you breathe and relax and medyo maka-release ka ng konti. Of late, walking and exercising has been my relaxation. It's a contradiction in terms kasi pag nag-exercise ka, di ba masakit sa katawan? But it's a mode of relaxation because it's something that's well within your control. Unlike life in general, that you cannot really control it. Exercising, walking, it's well within your control. You decide how many steps, you decide how many reps, you decide how many sets, and it all will have a predictable outcome. Unlike life, unlike the daily grind of life, hindi mo alam kahit pareho yung ginagawa mo day in and day out, baka mag-iba yung outcome sa ibang araw, pareho yung outcome sa ibang araw. And spending time, of course, with my family. My kids are here in Sorsogon with me dahil online naman yung klase nila. So they're here in Sorsogon with me and it's safer for them as well. I can't say the same for Heart given that her job brings her everywhere. In fact, she just arrived yesterday from the States because of work. So she's in quarantine right now.
Okay. Can you tell us something that people don't know about you? Say 3 things that people don't know about you.
Pag sinabi ko na, edi alam na nila, hindi na mahihirapan na naman ako mag-isip. One is quite obvious, but probably they don't realize it. I'm a very casual person. In fact, dahil work from home kami sa probinsya, hindi dahil sa COVID, dahil na-renovate yung Kapitolyo namin, araw-araw na outfit ko bilang gobernador sa probinsya, and it's so relaxing, would be shorts and slippers. And exactly what I'm wearing right now. Pero pag nagbukas yung Kapitolyo, obligado na ako mag-uniforme. I'm a very casual person, not only with respect to what I wear, but also with respect to dealing with people. I'm never one to deal with formalities. I always want to be underdressed in any occasion rather than being overdressed. At least naiiba ka. And I don't let my wife interfere with my fashion sense even if I don't have any, because I don't interfere with hers. Let me see, what else?
One last.
Of late, I have been focusing on longevity. Probably the pandemic woke me up too. So I've been doing IF for the past, LCIF for the past 9 weeks.
Wow.
Low carb intermittent fasting for the past 9 weeks. 10th week ko sa Sunday. And it has been a good feeling all throughout. And I lost 10 pounds.
Wow.
Ika nga, ang tawag namin dyan, ang biruan namin mga magkakaibigan dyan, ang tawag ko dyan, Balik Alindog Program.
Si Sir Chiz, meron din Balik Alindog program niya. Version niya.
Para yung trabaho ko lang dito, habang naka-lockdown, habang tigil ang buhay, habang hindi normal ang buhay, habang hindi tayo nakikita-kita, let's make the most out of this time to make a better version of ourselves. We're making the most out of our time to make Sorsogon a better version of itself once the world reopens. We're making the most out of our time to make Sorsogon a better version of itself once the world reopens. The same is true with us, I guess. Para pag nakita kayo, ikaw ba yan? Anyari? Di ba?
At least you didn't gain weight unlike other people really gained weight during this pandemic, no, Sir Chiz?
Actually, I lost 10 pounds. I lost 10 pounds.
That's good. Let's talk about your family this time around naman, no, Gov Chiz. Your wife, no, what was the most romantic or memorable thing you remember doing to your wife, Miss Heart Evangelista?
Well, romantic and memorable for her because it was different. It was part of my daily grind at that time. Our second date, I think, it was our second date. She happens to mention that she hasn't ridden a jeep, so pinarada ko yung kotse malapit sa lumang bahay namin sa May Kitanlat, sa Welcome Matonda. Nirentahan ko yung jeep at umikot kami papuntang UP. Dahil ng Quezon Avenue, ikot sa Quezon Memorial, ikot sa Academic Oval. And we ended up eating at the Kowloon ng Lumpiang Shanghai.
What was her reaction nung sinakay mo siya sa jeep?
She was like a kid, amazed at a new experience which she never did. Only hearing stories about her. So, guys, payo, hindi mo kailangan buhusan ng kahit sinong babae para lang ma-impress. Minsan, yung mga simpleng bagay na hindi po nila natitikman o nararanasan, ang mas makakapagpabighani sa kanya sa'yo.
Yeah, nice tip yan para dun sa mga kalalakihan natin, no? But then again, what are the 3 qualities that you like about Miss Heart Evangelista?
She's very honest, and she's very loyal. And she sees things like a young person would. Meaning it would be all new to her. And it makes me see things or give things a second look as well. Yung normal at ordinaryo sa akin, papabigil tuloy ako. Yung ordinaryo sa akin o sa paningin ko, sa karanasan ko, pag naranasan din niya na parang lumiliwanag yung mata niya sa ganda o sa sarap o sa nararanasan niya, it makes me experience it all over again, but in a different light. That's what never ceases to amaze me with respect to her, because she was quite sheltered when she was being brought up.
Yes, yes. Would you know the characteristics Miss Heart Evangelista loves about you? It's the other way around naman.
Um, Let me see. Not in this order. One would be being stable and set in my ways, in a good way.
Yes.
Meaning to say, I'm very predictable and she knows exactly what to expect. Two would be the fact that I am older. It's actually a positive thing too, guys and girls, because I am not one to experiment or even gallivant or be disloyal simply because I've been there and I've done that. Not the disloyal necessary part, but I've experienced life already. And given that nothing is new to me anymore, I don't experiment anymore either. Third would be, I guess that we learn from each other. She comes from showbiz, which I know very little about. I come from politics, which she and government, which she knows very little about. And we will keep it that way. Hindi siya papasok sa politika kahit kailanman. Usapan namin bago kami kinasal. Ako rin hindi papasok sa showbiz kahit kailan. Kahit hindi ako qualified naman, kunwari lang. For the simple reason that the chemistry works better that way. Hindi yung parang pareho kayong nasa politika, tapos pag uwi ninyong dalawa, yung kaaway mo, kaaway din niya. Pag ngayon yung ulo, yes. Yung ulo niya. O pareho kayo nasa showbiz, yung intriga, pag-aawayan nyo sa loob pa ng bahay, papaabutin nyo ron. It's nice because at least when she comes home, she gets to make me see a world that I haven't experienced nor have I seen. At pag may problema siya, bihira naman na may problema din ako sa mundo ko. And we get to exchange ideas and experiences as well. So, it's nothing boring at all. Nothing that would make it everyday life. Each and every encounter, each and every time we see each other, especially after a long period of time, would be a good experience in learning from each other and sharing each other's experiences sa isa't isa.
Can you remember the best gift you gave to her and the best gift she has given to you as well?
Best gift. Let me see. The best gift for me, not necessarily for her, my point of view, would be the engagement ring I got for her, which came from my mom.
Okay.
Kasi mahirap gawin yun. Kumuha ng alahas sa nanay ko.
Nagpaalam po ba kayo sa mother niyo?
Siyempre naman. Siyempre naman. Kano nag-propose ako. Hindi ko naman kinalimbat lang ang ninakaw. The best gift she has ever given me would be this expensive watch that I cannot afford, which she clearly can, and gave it to me on one of our anniversaries.
Okay, okay. How do you handle intrigues about her? Kinakausap niyo po ba siya kapag may mga ganyan?
Example, na-link siya sa ibang lalaki. Anong klaseng intriga ba pinag-uusapan natin?
Yeah, for example, like that, media? Yes. For example, na-link siya sa ibang co-actor niya. So how do you handle those news?
Well, it hasn't happened. As I said, one of her qualities would be loyalty. It hasn't actually happened. She's very careful about that. She's very careful about giving the vibe or the impression. So that has never been an issue. Yung pang-apat siguro na gusto rin niya na minsan pinaka-hate din niya is the fact that I am not a jealous person.
That's good.
I'm not confident, but I'm relatively secure. Also because of who and what she is. So hindi namin pinag-aawayan yun. Girls, hindi na isang bentahe na mas matanda ang boyfriend o asawa. Kasi hindi nyo kailangan pag-awayan yung mga maliliit na bagay na wala namang katuturan at walang kabuluhan.
Ang daming tips niya, Governor Chiz Escudero, no? For the lovers out there. Let's go now into your kids naman, no? Kamusta po sila ngayon in Sorsogon right now? What grade na po itong kambal niyo?
They're in grade 9, 13 years old. Ang problema ko lang, magkaiba yung school year nila kasi parang international schedule yung isa regular schedule. So yung bakasyon nila hindi nagkakasabay. My daughter is into the arts. She's learning how to play the guitar now and she really draws well and she knows nahihiya lang siya mag-TikTok, pero she dances really well too. My son is into sports. In fact, he's more athletic than I am, or I have ever been. He plays basketball every day, does weight training 3 times a week, and you can find him early in the morning as soon as he wakes up, basically just walking around or riding a bike, just to keep active. When I taught him how to do the jump rope, he would do 3 or 5,000 jumps in one
Wow.
sitting. Tinuruan ko siya mag-double under, mag-crossover. In fairness sa kanya, in one fell swoop, nagawa niya lahat yon in a few days. So they prefer to be in the province. Kesa nasa Maynila, na nakakulong lang sa kwarto, nasa iPad lang o nanonood ng TV, mas maganda rito kahit pa paano naaarawan sila at nakakapunta pa sa beach.
Is there any routine that you do with your children, like every morning or every evening? Binabasahan niyo ba sila ng books? May mga ganong routine po ba kayo?
Nung bata sila, I would always read them books. I would always lead them in prayer before they slept. Pero ngayong 13, mahirap nang gawin yon. Minsan nga ayaw na akong halikan eh. Minsan nga kailangan mo pang sabihin yakapin ka eh. Parang may konting hiya na sila. Para ako din naman yan na lumalaki. I remember when I was, when they were growing up and they started studying. Actually, literally, naluha ako nung biglang binigyan ko ng libro at sabi ko, ikaw naman magbasa kay daddy at saka kay ate or kay kuya, whatever. That they actually knew how to read already. That henceforth, I would no longer be able or need to read to them because they can do it by themselves. So, nung simula, binigyan ko sila, sorry, generation ko yun, ng Hardy Boys at saka Nancy Drew ng mga libro. I bought the complete set so that they had their own set of books to read, if only to encourage them to read at a young age. In fairness, natapos naman nila. Tapos yung anak ko lalaki, tinuloy niya hanggang Harry Potter. And then my daughter found out that she's more into the arts. So she would draw instead of reading. But my son continued with that habit.
Okay. Sir, iba naman tayo. Change topic naman tayo. No? If you were into politics right now, we're not into politics right now, what do you think will you be doing?
I would be teaching. My job before I entered politics, I would go back to teaching. In fact, anytime I retire from politics, if UP will still have me or any school will have me, I would go back to teaching. Either law or political science. Kung ano man yung natapos ko, babalikan ko din naman uli yun. I like teaching for 2 reasons. One, you cannot actually put into words how happy it makes a teacher to see a face light up inside the classroom that they actually learned something new. Hindi mo rin kayang bilhin ng pera pag nakikita mo yung estudyante mo sa labas at kasama niya yung boyfriend, girlfriend, nanay, tatay, lolo, lola, and they're proud to introduce you as their teacher in a mall or in a grocery store. Para sa akin, that often by itself is more than compensation enough to put me back inside the classroom.
Okay, let's talk about the COVID cases naman, no? Gov Chiz, no? Are you satisfied dito sa COVID-19 response ngayon ng government natin? And what do you think are the measures that can still be done by the government?
Definitely not. There are so many issues, and I have called for the resignation or removal or termination of Secretary Duque several times already, especially given the latest COA report, which she hasn't answered up to now. But then again, it's a work in progress. Why? Wala namang eskwelahan na nagturo kung paano rumesponde sa pandemic tulad nito. Lahat ng may karanasan sa pandemic noong 1920s, matagal lang nilibing at patay na. So lahat tayo nag-aaral, lahat tayo nag-eksperimento, lahat tayo tinitingnan kung ano nga ba yung dapat at pwede pang gawin. But what I fault the pandemic response with is the fact that they don't really do any research. They just stick to what they have right now, like what we have right now, yung lockdown mentality. Tumaas ang kaso, lockdown. Granular, buong bansa, buong probinsya, buong riyon. They should study. I'm not asking them to invent or reinvent the wheel. They can just simply copy what other countries are doing and make it adapt to what we need here. Example, in Italy, they have had, I think, a 5-month-long lockdown, but only on weekends. On weekends, only tourists, those who are not from Italy, and those working in the tourism sector are allowed to go out of their houses. Lockdown, all the rest. Weekend naman talaga di ba? Ano, wala lang, hindi sila makakapunta sa park. Monday to Friday, everybody is free to move around, work, and earn money para tumutuloy na umikot yung ekonomiya nila. at least nabawasan nila if only by 25% yung movement ng tao. Sa France, binuksan na nila yung pagpapabakuna. Wala na silang A1, A2, A3, A4. Lahat ng gusto magpabakuna, binakunahan na nila. And then they came up with rule that said, those who are fully vaccinated are free to leave their houses, work, and do whatever it is they want. Those who are not yet vaccinated cannot go to the mall nor ride a bus, a train, or a plane. In the United States, in Singapore, they don't practice lockdowns anymore. They just have very strong testing. They just have very strong contact tracing, and they mandate following minimum health standards. So ito at marami pang ibang mga strategiya ang sana tinitingnan nila, hindi yung kami pa. For example, this is just an example, Rina. Ivermectin is being used as a cure already in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Japan, in New Zealand, in Australia, and in the United States. Tingin mo ba mas magaling yung FDA natin kaysa sa FDA ng Amerika, ng Japan, ng New Zealand, ng Australia?
Of course not. Yeah.
Malamang hindi. With the WHO, bakit kailangan aprubahan pa ng FDA ng kada bansa yung bakuna? Pinaprubahan na yan, di ba? Sana meron treating pasukan ng mga bansa na kapag may pandemya, hindi na kailangan dumaan sa proseso ng approval basta na-aprubahan na yan ng ilang mga bansa. So for example again, if the vaccine was approved already by, for example, off the cuff, by Japan, by Canada, by the United States, by Korea, then it's good here in the Philippines too. And it applies to any medicine for that matter. Para wala nang delay na magamit pa ng Pilipino kasi pareho lang naman ang katawan natin, mas malaki lang yung katawan siguro nila eh. Pero pareho lang naman, mas maputi lang siguro sila kaysa sa atin eh. Pero pareho lang naman yung katawan natin eh. May puso tayo, may baga tayo, di ba? Kompleto. May utak, may limbs. So if it's good for them, why should it not be good for us as well? We're all Homo sapiens and human beings. And third, DOH should look at the best practices being done in various local government units because a lot of local government chiefs are doing actually a good job at keeping the pandemic numbers low. To cite an example, here in Sorsogon, I've always disagreed with the policy of DOH of keeping the names of patients anonymous. Here in Sorsogon, we name a COVID-positive patient. Pinapangalanan namin siya para maging kompleto yung contact tracing namin. Kasi madalas yung pasyente na nagpositibo, may nakakalimutan, sadyaman o hindi, na pinuntahan o pinanggalingan niyang lugar o taong nakausap o nakita niya. Pag pinangalanan namin siya, ang kusang loob na nagpapatest, nag-isolate at nagka-quarantine, aminin man niyang nakakontakt niya o hindi. So isa yan sa mga rason kung bakit na-minimize namin yung bilang dito. Ang pandemya para sa akin, a pandemic is not a beauty contest, it's not Miss Universe. Where you say, candidate number 27 is 63, is 23 years old, from barangay ganyan, municipality of ganyan. No, it's not. In fact, pag may girlfriend, yung isang taong may asawa, o boyfriend, yung isang taong may asawa, o hindi pa pinapayagan ng magulang magkaroon ng boyfriend o girlfriend, hindi niya aminin sa kahit sinong contact tracer na nagpunta siya, nakasama niya, o kung sino man. Which makes it difficult. Which opens up the possibility of community transmission in any place.
What about your take on this issue that there are increasing numbers of healthcare workers who are resigning because others, they want a higher pay abroad and some are scared about their health too? It's been trending over the news then, Governor Chiz. What's your take on that one?
Well, simply because DOH did not give them the benefits due them. I don't know how they will explain the delay. Government appropriated money in Bayanihan too to give them additional benefits, to make them feel important, to make them somehow compensated for their hard work. But I cannot explain, neither can I fathom why DOH delayed its release and up to now has not yet released it. But I appeal to our health workers. Alam ko, hindi maganda yung naging pagtrato ng pamahalaan sa inyo, pero sana sa panahon ng pandemya na kailangan kayo ng ating mga kababayan na magparaya na muna. At yan ang definition marahil, Rina, ng mga pagiging bayani nila. Tinuturing na natin ngayon na bayani ang lahat ng health workers. Bahagi ng pagiging bayani ang nagtatrabaho sa hindi gaanong kagandahang mga kalagayan. Bahagi ng pagiging bayani ang hirap na pinagdadaanan, kaya nga tinitingala sila bilang mga bayani. Kung madali lang kasi yun, edi hindi bayani ang tawag doon at hindi maalala yun. Kaya nga bayani ang tawag at turing sa kanila. Naunawaan at naintindihan namin ang pinagdadaanan nila, ang hirap, ang kawalan ng kasiguruhan, pero patuloy pa rin nilang ginagawa. Kaya sumasaludo ang marami sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating healthcare workers. sa barangay man o sa national level man.
If you were in Senate right now, Gov. Cheese, no, what are the bills that you will prioritize?
Number one would definitely be empowering local government units more. I've seen the best practices by most governors and mayors because I'm one of them. And I think government should give them an opportunity to do their thing. They're in a far better place to know what their people need and how it should be done compared to any secretary simply sitting in the comfortable chair in his office in an air-conditioned room in Metro Manila. May kanta nga ang Glock 9, ang pamagat yata, upuan. Ang linya niya, palagi kong sinasabi, kayong mga nakaupo, sana tumayo naman kayo paminsan-minsan para makita niyo naman yung tunay na kalagayan sa labas at nang matugunan niyo mga pangailangan namin. Kayong mga nakaupo, sana gawin ito. That has always been a dream of a lot of local government unit workers. Kasi mas alam naman talaga namin kung anong kailangan ng mga kababayan namin eh. No secretary or bureau director office in Manila can ever beat our knowledge of and experience in our respective local government units to find out really what they need. Now, there are some bad eggs. May mga masasama naman talaga at halangang bitukan ng mga local officials, but these are more exceptions rather than the rule. Second would be the proper allocation of the budget. Because for me, governance is about allocating scarce resources. If government is able to do that, then they govern properly. I think the next budget is very crucial because I call it a recovery budget. It's very crucial because it should pave the way for our economy to move again while at the same time protecting our people from the pandemic. If we miss out on this train, so to speak, the Philippines will take a longer time to recover and our people will suffer more. I am awaiting a study that's being done right now with respect to how many people died from COVID and how many people died because of poverty, hunger, or absence or lack of work or opportunity. It would be a nice figure to look at. How many people died from other diseases other than COVID because our hospitals were full? How many people died of comorbidities not because of COVID, because our doctors, our nurses were busy handling a surge in COVID? That would be a nice study to look at too, somewhere down the road or in the future, because we might see that more people might have actually died. I'm not sure, but it's a possibility. So these are the things that Congress actually should be doing and looking into right now. And for one, Rina, I won't be content with an answer from Secretary Duque when he was being asked about the COA report, that he will look into it and get back to them. Hindi naman katanggap-tanggap yun. It should not have been taken hook, line, and sinker. And recently, I was monitoring a hearing in Congress, and I heard Secretary Dominguez say that they signed a confidentiality agreement and cannot reveal the price of the vaccines they bought. That is completely against the procurement law. That is completely against all of the policies of the government, the procurement and policy board. And I don't know, kasi kung ganyan yan, de lahat ng government agency, pati kami, pipirma ng confidentiality agreement sa binibila namin ng computer, binibila namin ng bigas, and it will hold. It should never hold. It should not be allowed to hold. And confidentiality has no place with respect to accountability, especially when it comes to public funds.
Gov. Cheese, not everybody will have to agree with what you say, no? How do you handle negative remarks or comments about you?
If it's constructive, even if it's negative, I try to learn from it. If it's clearly destructive, I simply ignore it. It's part and parcel. I just had an interview with Bicol University students before this. And their thesis is about the call-out culture. Pag kina-call out daw ang mga politiko sa social media. Nahoy, ano ka ba? Ba't ka bumoto dyan? So, sabi ko sa kanila, you have to understand and study too the precursors of this. Saan ba nanggaling to? Social media is merely a platform. People used to call out politicians by writing them a letter, by visiting them in their office, by holding rallies in front of their office and drawing coming up with a caricature or a placard or something to air their views. Social media is simply a platform, a way of expressing as well. And they asked me, is it good or bad? It's always good because it's part of free speech and expression. I'd rather have that, opinionated people who think they're the most intelligent people in the world, rather than have a silent citizenry. Because on the part of the politician, They can choose either to respond or to ignore, or they can choose to learn from it, or patulan nila. Marami akong kaibigan sa politika pumapatol. But it's totally up to them. It has never bothered me, especially if you don't really think that what you're doing is wrong, or that you violated any law, or that what you did was immoral.
What are the qualities of a good leader for you, Gov. Chiz?
Honesty would be one. Honesty would be the first. A leader should be honest, not only with respect to handling public funds, but also being honest to his people with respect to what the true state of affairs are in your province, municipality, city, or country. Second would be the ability to work with other people. Because no man is an island, and no senator, no one congressman, no one governor, even if he's the local chief executive, no president, however powerful he may be, can actually get things done unless he puts people together or has the ability to put people together. Even our next president, for example, I'm not running for president, really, I'm just describing my ideal president. Our next president should be a healing president. A president that will heal us from this pandemic, but more importantly, that will heal the great political divide that is amongst us. Because he cannot do it by himself, his party cannot do it by themselves, and certainly his government cannot help overcome the problems brought out by this pandemic. He has to be able to work with other people. His opponents in the last elections, in the previous elections, other parties, other sectors that didn't support him or didn't like him, especially given the fact that our next president will surely be a minority president. Meaning ang mananalo, parang si Pangulong Duterte, hindi binoto ng mas nakararaming botante. But he will still win because he got the most number of votes, but he or she will be a minority president. And that president must be able to reach out, must learn to reach out, and must be open to accepting any form of help, even from his former political opponents.
So what's the next step for Governor Chiz right now? Are you running for Senate again in the coming elections?
I will put my name again, Rina, in the ballot for the Senate in the next elections, for the simple reason that given the problems we're facing right now, it should be, as they say in English, all hands on deck. Lahat ng pwedeng may tulong, dapat alokin yung tulong na yon, mag-ambag sa parte ko, anumang karanasan, talento, galing, o nalalaman ko, yun ang nais kong iambag. I didn't say I was running. I said I'd put my name in the ballot because there is a difference for me. I'll put my name in the ballot because I'm offering it. Parang hindi ata ako makakatulog pag hindi ko inalok yun. Kasi sa paniniwala ko, kahit pagandahin ko at ayusin ko in relation to the pandemic o pati ekonomiya ng probinsya namin, ng rehiyon namin, ng Region 5, hindi pa rin magiging sapat yon at kulang pa rin yon kung hindi yung buong bansa ang muling babangon. And that's why I decided to put my name in the ballot once more.
Can you say a message to the youth right now who are voting for the next elections? Ano po yung magandang mensahe nyo para bumoto po sila ng tama next elections?
Lahat yun nagsisimula sa pagrehistro. Kung hindi kayo rehistrado, hindi kayo makakaboto. Walang tamang sagot sa halalan. Ang importante lang, pag-aralan ninyo, suriin ang mga kandidato kung sino nga ba ang karapat-dapat dahil kayo rin ang magbabayad sa mas mahabang panahon kapag mali o palpak ang mananalo. Kaming mas matatanda, ang mas maikling panahon na ang ilalagay namin sa mundo at kung mali ang napili nating leader, mas konti yung panahon na magdudusa kami. Kayo mas mahaba-haba pa. So mas malaki ika nga ang taya ninyo kumpara sa amin sa darating na eleksyon. Rason para magrehistro, bumoto, pero bago bumoto, suriin ng tama ang kakayanan at kwalifikasyon ng kada kandidato. Okay lang magkamali. Okay lang na hindi tama yung inyong napili. Basta't pagpulutan nyo ng aral yon para sa susunod na eleksyon, mas maganda na yung pwede nyong piliin o mas maganda na yung mga magiging leader ng ating bansa. I know that our national hero said that the youth is the hope of the fatherland, but you should get over that already. When you use the word hope, it pertains to a time that is yet to come, a person that is yet to be molded, or a place you have yet to reach. For me, dapat na maging bagong panawagan sa kabataan ngayon. Ang kabataan, hindi lamang pag-asa ng bayan, ang dapat ngayon pa lang, maasahan na ng bayan. Dahil kailanman, huwag nyo ikonsiderang o ituring na kapansanan ng pagiging bata. Bata ka man o matanda, may kakayahan at boses ka at oportunidad na gawin kung anong pwede mong magawa para sa iyong bansa. Just think of it this way. Half of our population of 110 million is above 18. Half is below 18. So kung kalahati lang, yung 18 years old and above lang ang gagalaw para sa bansa, ibig sabihin nun, 55 million lang yung gumagalaw para umasenso ang bansa at gumanda ang kalidad ng buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Pero kung bawat Pilipino lang sana, bata man o matanda, ano man ang edad, mayaman o mahirap, nakapag-aral o hindi, babae o lalaki, ano man ang kasarian, may itsura o wala, kung lahat tayo, mas marami sa atin gagalaw, isipin mo, mas maraming gumagalaw, simpleng math na lang, mas malaki din yung pagbabago makikita natin sa ating bansa. So never consider being young as a handicap. Always think that every day you wake up is an opportunity to do good. Every day you wake up is an opportunity to do the right thing. You have more days that you will be waking up from compared to the older generation, compared to us. So I hope you will make the most out of that time.
What
Sorry
about...
kung mahaba yung...
That's good actually. What about your message naman to the Filipino people this time of crisis na may kinakaharap po tayong pandemic? Matagal-tagal pa po itong pagharap natin sa pandemic na to. So what's your message for the Filipino people?
Og Mandino wrote that this too shall come to pass. There are several passages in the Bible as well that says that this too shall come to pass. So my message would be to the people would be this too shall come to pass. Lilipas din to. Matatapos dito, malalampasan din natin ito. Huwag nating sayangin yung panahon na hinaharap natin itong pandemya at mga problema kaugnay ng lockdown para hindi tayo magkaroon at makagawa ng mas magandang bersyon ng mga sarili natin. Dahil darating at darating palagi yung panahon na babalik tanawan natin ang panahon ito. Pag-uusapan na lang natin, pagtatawa na natin. Pero habang nandito tayo, alam ko na mabigat para sa marami sa ating mga kababayan. Pero matatapos din po ito at lilipas din po ito sa awa ng Diyos. Maniwala at panghawakan po natin yung kinabukasang wala na itong COVID-19 pandemic na bumabagabag at nagbibigay sa atin ng pahirap sa panahon ito.
Yeah, before we end the show, Governor Chiz Escudero, let's play a game, Gov Chiz, so our viewers can get to know more about you. I'm going to ask you a question and you're only allowed to say one word to this question. Are you ready po, Gov Chiz?
I will try.
Okay. Okay, favorite food?
Tinola.
Favorite chips? Do you eat chips?
Cheese curls. Sorry, hindi siya chip. I got my name from that. Cheese curls. That's why it's dahil paborito ko yung cheese curls ng bata ko.
So
Kaya
ever since cheese na. Oh,
kaya C-H-I-Z ang spelling niya.
Okay, that's a trivia. That's something we don't know about you, diba? Favorite song?
Beautiful in My Eyes. Because that's the only song I can roughly sing.
Oh, sample? Sample?
I never sang on stage. I never sang on stage.
Sa banyo lang, no? Gov Chiz.
I'm not about to do it. Favorite movie would be Love Affair.
Okay. Favorite actor?
Sino yun sa Indiana? Harrison Ford.
Okay. Favorite sport?
Shooting right now.
What's your pet peeve?
Inefficiency.
Okay. This time around naman, Gov Chiz, let's complete the phrase lang, no? Sana all, blank.
May pag-ibig at mahal sa buhay.
Ayan. Hindi ko kayang blank.
Magnakaw o makulong.
Sa classroom, blank.
Hindi ko yata mag-gets yun. Sa classroom?
Sa classroom. Okay, let's change it. Let's change it. Ito, very popular, very popular. Winarak mo ang blank.
Winarak mo ang plano ko sa buhay na marami sanang magawa, kaya lang tumama ang pandemya.
Kahit konting blank.
Pagtingin, lalong-lalo na pag namimiss mo isang tao.
Aba, talaga namang, are you a romantic person po ba talaga?
Uy, relevant to ngayon kasi mga mag-iisang buwan ko lang di nakikita yung asawa ko, tapos biglang mag-10-day quarantine pa? Ganon? Apektado yun.
Paano po pala yun? No? How do you balance it off? Parang, in a way, parang LDR din kayo kasi how often lang po kayo nakikita ni Miss Heart?
My first girlfriend was when I experienced LDR. Wala pang internet nun. Wala pang email nun. So either long distance call or snail mail. Yun ang totoong LDR. Ngayon, hindi
Okay.
naman nag-ano kasi pwede kang mag-video call, pwede kang makausap anytime, kahit nasan siya sa mundo, pwede mo na siya makausap. Hindi tulad noon, landline lang, pag wala ka sa bahay, hindi ka na matawagan. Hindi mo na yata inabutan yung Rina. Pero pag wala ka sa bahay, hindi mo na matawagan. Pag hindi mo nakuha yung phone number niya at may nakita kang magandang babae sa mall, baka masunod kayo magkita, may 3 anak na siya o matatanda na kayo pag hindi mo nakuha yung number dahil walang paraan para mahanap mo siya. Wala namang Facebook para i-search mo yung pangalan man lang niya.
Tama.
Nung nag-LDR ako sa unang girlfriend ko, literally, I would write to her every day. Para may matatanggap siyang sulat araw-araw kasi 2 weeks yung sulat bago makarating sa Maynila, galing sa Washington, D.C. Sa
Wow.
sobrang dami kong sulat na sinulat, gumawa pa ako ng sulat na baliktad. Sinulat ko ng pabaliktad at pwede lang niyang basahin pag nakatingin siya sa salamin. Yun ang LDR. Ito hindi naman LDR talaga ang tingin ko dito, maliban sa hindi mo man lang mayakap o mahalikan yung tao.
Oh, one last na ha, Gov Cheese. Any message for Miss Heart Evangelista and to your kids as well na rin po?
Miss ko na siya. Sa mga kids ko kasama ko.
Ako yung kinikilig eh.
Siyempre, miss ko na siya. Kaya lang, kailangan sumunod. So, susunod. Pero I look at it as an opportunity. Siya pa rin yung kausap ko. Para at least pag nakita tayo, merong gigil.
And to your kids, baka may mensahe ka po para sa kanila.
I only wish the very best for them. For me, given the opportunities given them that I never had when I was growing up, hindi naman sa pressure. And it applies to the younger generation as well. You have no excuse not to be better than us. You have no excuse not to accomplish what we've accomplished. You have no excuse not to accomplish far more than we ever did. Dahil maraming pagkakataon na meron sa inyo ngayon na hindi namin inabutan nung lumalaki kami. Let me expound. Nung lumalaki ako, encyclopedia lang ang laman ng library namin. Pag wala yun sa encyclopedia, hindi na namin malalaman yun. Pag may assignment na mahirap, maghahanap ng doktor at engineer o abogado yung nanay ko na pwedeng sumagot ng tanong. Now at your fingertips, you can ask any question and it will be answered you. So they have no excuse to be ignorant. They have no excuse not to know better than us. They have no excuse not to reach further heights. They have no excuse not to know something. So I hope the younger generation will be able to carry that on their shoulders and do a better job than we ever did. And the same is true for my kids.
Social media pages that you wanted to promote, Gov Cheese, active ba kayo sa mga Instagram, Facebook? Do you even have TikTok yourself?
I'll have them send it to you dahil hindi ko kabisado at administrate ko yan basically except for my Twitter account.
Okay, thank you so much for a wonderful talk, fun talk po, Governor Chiz Escudero from Sorsogon. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for keeping us your Saturday night routine here on The Public Servant. We will see you again next time, only here on Com Network. Please don't forget to like, follow, and share our official Facebook and YouTube channel. It's Com Network. Again, I'm Rina Villamor Camera. Good night.